Balin, at your service.
Who is Balin, son of Fundin? He is a dwarf with a striking white beard and a vivid scarlet hood. Now, if you've only seen the movies, that may not sound quite as familiar to you, but in the book, that is how he is described, and it makes him stand out in Thorin Oakenshield's company. That's Balin for you. Wise, spirited, and an emblem of dwarven virtues. He is not just any dwarf, he is a descendant of the Longbeard clan, meaning his lineage traces back to many ancient dwarven kings. So today, sit back, relax, as we look at his story.
Build me an army worthy of Mordor.
So let's take a step back and picture Balin as a young dwarf. He was born in 2763 of the Third Age to his father Fundin, and also having a younger brother named Dwalin. Just imagine growing up as he did in the shadow of the lonely mountain, Erebor. It would have been amazing. This wasn't just any mountain, it was a symbol of dwarven prosperity, known far and wide for its splendour and the unmatched skill of its craftsmen. Balin's childhood was immersed in these rich traditions and crafts, surrounded by the wealth and grandeur of Erebor. But can you imagine how it would feel to have your world turned upside down as a child? For Balin, this happened in 2770, when the dragon Smaug swooped down on Erebor. This devastating event, which you might remember from The Hobbit, didn't just take away the dwarves' home, it struck at the very heart of their heritage and identity. Picture Balin, a young dwarf, witnessing his world crumble, instilling in him a burning desire to reclaim what was lost. Now, think about what it takes to grow up in the face of such adversity. After the fall of Erebor, Balin and his family had to flee, finding refuge in Dunland under the rule of King Thror. These weren't just years of displacement, they were formative years that sculpted Balin into a dwarf of incredible resilience. He learned the art of endurance and the unyielding spirit of his people, qualities that would later define him. Have you ever wondered how early experiences shaped who he became? For Balin, these years were crucial. They forged in him a sense of wisdom and bravery, making him a vital member of Thorin Oakenshield's company in their quest to reclaim Erebor. Balin's story is a reflection of the broader narrative of the Dwarves in Middle-earth. It is a tale of loss, but also of resilience and a never-ending hope to restore their once grand and majestic home. Now I'd like to stop here just for a moment to talk about our paid partner for today's video. And this is something that comes from personal experience. I have struggled with anxiety for a period of time. It's not something that I do like to talk about publicly, but I have used therapy before and it has helped me through some difficult periods, and this is where BetterHelp comes into it. They are our paid partner for this video, and I found it incredibly helpful to be able to talk openly and honestly with someone completely outside of my regular life when things have gotten a bit too much. My therapist would have no prior knowledge of me or my problems, which allowed me to get an objective outside perspective and new ideas to really help me to overcome my anxiety. I personally found it so much easier and more comforting to open up to a detached third party rather than someone in my inner circle. It kind of just took that pressure off, knowing that whatever I shared would remain confidential. Like, I know my friends and my family always mean well, but sometimes unintentionally they can just make things worse. And my therapist truly listened without judgment and taught me new coping mechanisms tailored specifically to my situation. So, over time, with their support, I really made good progress and it has helped me so much getting through that anxiety. Of course, bad days still happen, but I am in a much better place thanks to all of this. So if you're anything like me and you don't really like to talk about this openly, but you could benefit from it, please check out BetterHelp. It's super easy to get started. You just need to fill out a questionnaire about your needs, and BetterHelp matches you with a therapist trained to support you in your specific situation. I'm grateful that I made the decision to try BetterHelp before, and then that they reached out to want to work with me to help you guys. It genuinely changed my life. It really did help me. And if you think talking through your challenges with an outside professional could help you too, please visit betterhelp.com/broken sword or select the broken sword during sign up to get started and receive a special discount off your first month of therapy. And now with that, let's get back to the video. Now let's turn to one of the darker chapters of Balin's life, and that is the War of the Dwarves and Orcs. This wasn't just any conflict, it was a war that shaped the history of Middle-earth, and the details of this come from the Appendices of The Lord of the Rings. The war erupted after a horrendous act. the murder of Thror, the Dwarf King, by the Orcs of Moria. Imagine the outrage and the thirst for vengeance that swept through the Dwarven communities. This war was about more than just retribution. It was about kinship, honour and justice, values that resonated deeply with Balin, even in his youth. Balin's role in the war, while not detailed, likely involved him standing shoulder to shoulder with his fellow dwarves, fighting fiercely for vengeance and the honour of his fallen king. This experience would have forged his combat skills and deepened his understanding of loyalty and courage. For Balin, this war was another thing that truly defined who he became, as Tolkien hints in his lesser-known writings. It wasn't just a physical battle, it was a crucible that shaped his future leadership and decision-making abilities. One of the most heart-wrenching moments of that war, and perhaps a defining moment in Balin's life, was at the Battle of Azanul-Bizar. It's hard to imagine the pain of losing a loved one in battle. Balin faced this reality now, when his father, Fundin, was killed. Tolkien doesn't spell out Balin's role in the battle, but we can understand the profound impact his father's death would have on him. It was a lesson in the brutal realities of war and the fragility of life. After the war, Balin had to think about rebuilding and finding a new sense of belonging, so he, along with Thrain II and Thorin, moved from Dunland to the Blue Mountains. These weren't just physical moves, they symbolised the dwarves' continuous quest to find their place in a world that was constantly changing. These experiences were instrumental in shaping Balin's character. So with few details, you might wonder, why is this part of Balin's story even so important? These experiences were the foundation for his later role in the quest of Erebor, as we see in The Hobbit. The war prepared him for the challenges ahead, honing his leadership, courage and wisdom. It's fascinating to see how these formative experiences influenced Balin's journey and his role in one of the greatest quests in Middle-earth. Alright, now let's move forward to one of the better parts of Balin's life, and that is the quest of Erebor. This is where we see Balin's virtues that we have already talked about really shine through, and this story is of course the one that is told through the story of The Hobbit. But did you know that Balin actually wasn't initially sold on the idea of Bilbo Baggins joining their quest? That's right, Tolkien's drafts gave us a glimpse of Balin's initial skepticism towards the Hobbit chosen by Gandalf. And here, that's where we see Balin's true character, his ability to reassess and appreciate Bilbo's unique qualities later. Remember the moment when Bilbo, invisible due to the One Ring, cleverly sneaks past Balin on lookout duty? That was a game changer for him, leading to a profound respect and friendship between the two. Throughout the quest, Balin consistently shows balanced judgment and invaluable experience. Also remember the time that Balin courageously fought off trolls in the Troll Shores, or how he skillfully navigated the dangers of the Misty Mountains and the eerie forests of Mirkwood. Each of these moments showcases Balin's bravery and quick thinking, essential to the company's survival. He wasn't just a follower. His counsel to Thorin Oakenshield, often side by side with his brother Dwalin, was crucial for the group's success. One standout moment is when Balin willingly accompanies Bilbo into the depths of the Lonely Mountain. This act wasn't just brave, it showed his deep trust that had developed with Bilbo. Imagine the challenges that they faced, their capture, the dangers of Mirkwood, and ultimately the confrontation with Smaug, followed then by the intense battle of 5 armies. Through all of this, Balin's unwavering courage and loyalty never faltered. He was right there, in the thick of it, standing strong with his companions. So after the successful reclaiming of Erebor, Balin saw this not just as a victory, but it was a dream come true for him and his companions, a testament to their perseverance and unity. And let's not forget the touching aftermath to this all, Balin's visit to Bilbo in the Shire along with Gandalf. This visit wasn't just a friendly call, it underscored the deep and enduring friendship that they had forged during their trials. So what does Balin's role in the quest of Erebor really tell us? It's a vivid portrayal of his enduring spirit and valour. His journey from the Blue Mountains to the Lonely Mountains symbolises more than just a physical quest. It's that testament to the resilience and unity of the dwarves in overcoming great odds. It's that story of transformation, friendship, and the power of believing in each other, even when at first you may not believe. So after the triumph of the Battle of the 5 Armies, despite losing Thorin, Balin's life changed just a little. He now turned to rebuilding and reflection. Gone are the days of him being some wild adventurer, or so he thinks, and instead he's now turning into somewhat of an elder statesman. This is where he plays a key role in the revival of Erebor under the new King Dane Ironfoot. It is really a time of resurgence for Dwarven culture and prosperity, and Balin is at the heart of it. But Balin was more than just a warrior, he was a skilled leader too. In Erebor, Balin played a key role in not only the kingdom's defense, but also in its cultural and economic revival. His expertise in mining and craftsmanship contributed greatly to restoring Erebor's former glory. Following Smaug's defeat, his role in Erebor's governance highlighted his ability to handle complex political and social responsibilities. It's amazing to think about the breadth of skills that he really did possess. Because did you know that Balin was also quite the diplomat? Tolkien's letters and drafts suggest that he was actively engaged in diplomacy with other dwarf realms. Balin's diplomatic efforts extended to forging alliances and maintaining peace with neighbouring realms, demonstrating his vision for a united and prosperous dwarven community. All of this showing his influence and statesmanship on a broader scale. But there was something that still tugged at Balin's heart. Moria, the ancestral home of the Dwarves. Despite the safety and wealth of Erebor, the desire to reclaim Moria, also known as Khazad-dûm, was irresistible. In 2989 of the Third Age, driven by a mix of noble intent and ancestral pride, Balin led an ambitious expedition to Moria, joined by Oin, Ori, and others. Initially, the Moria expedition seemed promising. Balin set up his throne in the Chamber of Mizarbal, declaring himself Lord of Moria. This period was a beacon of hope, seemingly signalling the revival of Moria's lost glory. But as we know, Middle-earth can be a harsh and unforgiving place. So despite what seemed a success for the first couple of years, after 5 years, tragedy struck. This colony awoke something that they wished they never had, disturbed darknesses that should never be touched, and Balin ended up meeting his end by an orc archer's arrow while gazing into the Mirrormere, a poignant and somber moment marking the collapse of the dwarf colony in Moria. Balin's tomb, later found by the Fellowship of the Ring in the Chamber of Mizarbal, stands as a solemn testament to his courage and the tragic price of his dream. His attempt to reclaim Moria, though ultimately unsuccessful, embodies the timeless themes of Tolkien's world, the nobility of striving against great odds and the profound consequences of reaching for lost greatness. In death, Balin's story, culminating in the echoing halls of Moria, becomes a poignant tale of ambition, loyalty, and the passage of time, symbolizing the enduring spirit of the Dwarves and their deep connection to their storied past. As we take a moment now to reflect on Balin's life and the impact that he really had on Middle-earth, we really come to see just what an interesting character he was. I mean, he wasn't just any character, he was a symbol of the core virtues of what a dwarf is. But it's interesting to think about the legacy Balin left for future generations. Well, his teachings and values were passed down to younger dwarves, echoing the virtues we touched on at the beginning. Think about Gimli, son of Gloin, in The Lord of the Rings. Gimli's deep respect and reverence for Balin speaks volumes about Balin's esteemed status among his people. When the Fellowship discover Balin's tomb in Moria, it's a powerful moment that highlights the passage of time and the lasting impact of history on the present. Balin's life is like a microcosm of the themes of hope and despair that run through Tolkien's works. His brave but ultimately doomed attempt to reclaim Moria mirrors the dwarves' intrinsic connection to their heritage. Tolkien's letters reveal that Balin's character was shaped by a deep sense of duty and a longing for the restoration of dwarven greatness, themes that resonate throughout his journey and their ongoing struggle to regain their lost glory. It's a narrative that resonates not just with the dwarves, but with all of Middle-earth, where triumph is often intertwined with tragedy. Remembered as a warrior, a leader, and a visionary, Balin's aspirations to restore Moria, despite leading to his downfall, underline that resilience of the dwarven spirit and their unwavering commitment to their ideals. His story continues to inspire and captivate us, serving as a great reminder of the depth and complexity of Tolkien's characters. So really, Balin's legacy is more than just a story of bravery and friendship. It is really about that relentless quest to reclaim what was believed to have been lost. So there we have it. As we conclude this story on Balin the Dwarf, we can really see what core values he embodied: bravery, loyalty, and heritage. From the heights of his time in Erebor to the lows of his end in Moria, Balin's life mirrors dwarf resilience and their journey in Middle-earth. His bond with Bilbo Baggins showcases unity across cultures, enriching Tolkien's lore. Beyond Bilbo, Balin also shared significant moments with characters like Beorn the Skin Changer and the Elven King Thranduil, exemplifying his ability to interact wisely and respectfully with allies and potential foes alike. Balin's quest for Moria teaches us about ambition, sacrifice, and balancing respect for history with embracing the future. His story, deeply intertwined with the Dwarven spirit, adds richness to Tolkien's legendarium and leaves a lasting impact on the readers. So, until next time, keep exploring and may your adventures be at least half as epic as Balin's. And I would also like to take a moment at the end of this video today to give you a quick update on The Guard, the short film that we are creating. Everything is going amazing. We have just shot block 2 and the rest of it should hopefully be shot soon too. As always, it is all the money from our Patreon that is funding this. In essence, it is a no budget production if you consider the large scale of film, but every pound that you give is a massive help to create an incredible story. I'm putting a couple of shots on screen now and some behind the scenes clips to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. So if you would like to help support it a little bit more to help push us over the line, then please check out our Patreon. Every little bit really helps. So with that now, it is time for my question of the day, which is, forgetting that you know how it turns out, if you were given that chance to go with Balin on the expedition to Moria, do you think you would have gone? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and reasons why in the comment section down below. And now it is time to give a massive thank you to our patrons who continue to support the channel. You are all amazing. And if you have reached the very end of this video with me today and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It would massively help us out. And why not drop a like on the video as well? And with that, all I can say is, thank you for spending just some of your time with me today, and I will see you next time on The Broken Sword.